Go. Get up, get the guy, go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Hello, we are live and we are one man down today. Diego is sick, so we're going to see how well this goes without our anchor man guiding us along. You have the opinion man today. So today we are going to cover one very important thing. I think is the largest flash crash in crypto history, and let me quickly bring up our tweets. I don't have the fancy tool that Diego has to highlight things. I'm just not as good as Diego. Let me get this big enough. Who wants to see my face on full? Nobody. Can have my face a little bit. Sorry, guys. It usually makes itself bigger. Forget it. We'll go full screen. Okay. So, let me just close this. So this guy has been looking into the flash crash, looking at specific times. So crypto began selling off at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, with the first tariff being announced an hour and a half later. Now, what I'm quite interested in is what did this look like in the Polymarket view, right? So if we jump over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just double check. Yeah. Okay. So this is the 9th, and I don't think so. For we're here, let's have a look. At no point on the 7th did it look like, all the way up to the 9th, did it look like it was going to be less than that. Really, was it? It's like if we look here, we see a dump here. When did this dump happen? On the 9th. So on the 9th, people looked like it wasn't going to break 122k. That's reasonable. I'm fine with that. That was kind of normal. But we started seeing sell-offs happening here. So we're seeing, and if we jump through to the 10th, it's hard to kind of pinpoint this live when we're looking. There's a V shape there. That's third. That's all the way back then. So if we can look at the 1 week time frame, yeah, that'll work out there. So here's the 10th. So yeah, like momentum was slowly moving up to it being above 118 that day. If we keep looking at these days on a week time frame, just to see the direction of travel. Yeah, Bitcoin above 116, above 112. So, and then we see this sort of like flash here, down and back up. So it would be good. I don't think we can get this, but I was looking around earlier. Anybody knows what this is in Polymarket? The longer term one. Well, where's the month one? 13th to the 19th. That's our date range. So it's a bit trickier to find it here. Oh, this is an interesting one. Well, it dipped below 100k before 2026. No, that one. Sorry, I read that as 2025. Everybody still thinks it will be up before the end of the day today, so that's handy. But I'm looking for the long-term Bitcoin one, but I can't find it. Where is it? Monthly. Boom. Monthly candles. All right. This one might be a bit nicer. So what we thinking? The highest one is above 130, but it's not very high, so that's actually quite low. So we saw with these flash crashes that the markets, the crypto sell-off began before the news was there. What I was trying to identify there is, can you see it in prediction markets? But it's a bit harder because there's an order book for every price, so it's difficult to kind of follow that. So we're going to jump over to Alt Gordon next. So this story continued. We saw the flash crash, triggered by Trump's tariff announcement, which crashed a whole bunch of stuff. And then moving into today, Alt Gordon, if you don't follow him, is quite fun actually. Just do enjoy his stuff. He is quite maximalist in the Bitcoin front. But he's starting to see the whale that shorted Bitcoin minutes before Trump's China tariff announcement just added a 46 million to his current short. His short is now 208 million with a liquidation price of 121k. So this person seems to know something we don't, or we can look at it like they're degenerate gamblers and they're willing to go all in risk, or they have some sort of inside channel that's giving them information. So this is why having things on chain and having transparency is very important, because we can start to see essentially what looks a bit like insider trading. We can see the insider trading start to emerge on chain, and it's very useful. Now, nobody can do anything with this data. Like, we've seen loads of this stuff before. If anyone is following the FTX stuff, there was lots of chain data pointing to FTX doing something funny with Sol, but nobody did anything and nobody listened properly, and then the FTX failed. So it's quite interesting moving that way, moving outwards. Then we've got other people. We're going to move on to Autism Capital, because we're going to talk about this a little bit. This show, I imagine, will not be as long as our usual shows, because I'll just keep beasting through the content. On October 6th, this is really the top. I don't think this is the top of the cycle. I just cannot see it being top of the cycle because of the strength of Bitcoin on its rebound. This looked like a flash crash triggered by the American president, and some people seem to have a bit more information than we did before it happened. Do like Autism Capital, though. Quite funny. So, all this dead space when Diego's not here to talk for us. We'll move on to a bit more prediction market focused stuff. So, Carr on Polymarket does some great posts. Out of nowhere, so the Nobel Peace Prize was the big one last week. And we'll just read through this one quickly. A Polymarket user figured out who won the Nobel Peace Prize almost 11 hours before the official announcement from the Nobel Committee, right? This, again, really interesting. I thought this was going to be our biggest post, our biggest piece of content this week, but I think it will be the flash crash for the rest of the few days remaining. And what we're finding here is there's something we've always, I think everybody in prediction markets have spoke about, in the sense where we may end up seeing is insider trading a feature of or a bug of a market, right? And I guess the one thing with traditional markets, insider trading still happens. If it didn't, you wouldn't have like the SEC in there regulating things. You wouldn't need regulators. But what happens when things are on chain is a lot more transparent. So I just go back to that post from Alt Gordon. You can see it happening ahead of time, and Polymarket, you can kind of see it happening ahead of time. It doesn't need to be on chain in that sense to see this, but there's clearly leaky ships and leaky information, and people are capitalizing heavily off of that. Now, that might allow you to get out your position earlier, but chances are you'll just get creamed with everybody else if you're sitting on the other side. I'm just going to continue reading this. The market was trading from 8 cents and rose to $1. 100x gain for those who got in early. So if you weren't betting on this person to win, you would have made a fortune when she did. This shows how powerful open information markets can be. People across the world piece together clues, leaks, and betting patterns faster than traditional media or institutions. Not a single mainstream media outlet reported on Machado winning the Nobel Peace Prize before the official announcement. Only Polymarket got it right. And for those wondering, Donald Trump did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't think anyone with any logical integrity thought he was going to. Every week, Polymarket becomes more a real-time truth engine, predicting events before they're public. Today, with another example, I would have never guessed the Nobel Peace Prize or its winners would be so bad at keeping information private. Yeah, I mean, keeping it private is the whole thing about insider trading. I think the car misses here is it's in the term, guys. It's insider trading. It means somebody in the inside had the information and made the bet, right? It's not necessarily that it leaked. It's they took information which was private and they acted upon it either via themselves or through somebody else. I mean, all you need to do is watch any of the Wall Street films to see how that sort of operates, right? And Oliver Stone's father was a trader, so it's all basically kind of real life stuff. People are like, oh, it's just a film. It's not. This is how it operates. Insider traders in the world. So I'm just amazed that somebody from the Nobel Peace Prize team knew what Polymarket was and decided to lay a bet on it. So I think that's great. That means prediction markets are getting really good distribution. Now let me jump on to the next one. Got down there. Okay. I have to say, I think it's really amazing how Diego managed to sit and read through these things. I just don't have the attention span that Diego does. Okay, let's zoom in a bit because I realize you can't all read that. Oh, not my face. Sorry. I want it zoomed in here. Okay, a lot of ink spilled this week on the Nobel Peace Prize. Insider, including a full-scale investigation in Norway. Oh, wow. Phantom bets discovered / revealed in the quoted tweet that at least one element of the winner was on Nobel Peace. Oh, okay. So it might not have been insider trading. Nobel's site hours before the announcement. An image file of Maria. Oh, the person that found that. Well done. This has been my theory. Not a committee member leak. Okay, so that's not insider trading then, right? But instead, an innocent drop of information, that's totally acceptable. That's not insider trading either. It's an accidental leak that was vacuumed up immediately and factored into the market, right? So actually, this is really interesting. Source sites leaking information before the official announcement. So anybody that's ever had to do an official announcement for anything knows that all the assets are set up on the site somewhere before it happens. You don't just go, let's announce it, write the post or whatever and stick it out there. Back to the tweet. If an edge exists, a prediction market trader will find it. He's paid to. Exactly. That is true. And this likely explains why Polymarket had the winner hours before the committee announced it publicly. Not nefarious, but instead a lot of hustle. Yes, actually, for me, that makes more sense, right? Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me that somebody found an image file or some sort of information, an article. It could be a hidden article, whatever it is, on the site before it was released. Just by crawling the site, scraping the site, and monitoring, it could be one way. So yeah, I like that one. Again, if you don't follow Domer, what the hell are you doing? Go follow Domer if you're into prediction markets. He's got, as I said to him, because we really wanted to get him on the show, but he is respectfully declined until Polly do a token. Then he said he would come on the show, which is great. But he is a power user. He has been using it for a very long time, and he is also incredibly articulate and just good at a good communicator. So that's why I would definitely follow. Look, there you go, full-time political bettor since 2007. Wow. And then that's not just using Polymarket. He's been using Polymarket for years. So excellent insight from him, taking me away from my paranoid delusions about insider betting. Oh, sorry, guys. There's a lot of tweaks. We could labour the point a little bit more on the Nobel Peace Prize, but I don't think we will. I think this is an interesting point. I think everybody should check that out. Again, the more you read about around Polymarkets and prediction markets and how things are resolved or where people found information, the smarter that you get every single time. So yeah, check that one out. Oh, and here we go. We have now got Anson on Polymarket because he's good pals with Shane Copland now. So expect your feeds to be filled with that from every regular crypto KOL now piloting into crypto markets. And I think Diego and I were saying this last week, maybe. Can't remember who we were talking to, but the minute we start seeing a lot of leverage tools being built around prediction markets, you're going to see the crypto meme coin or altcoin or people who are just trying to get like 10x, 100x sort of things. They're going to start coming to prediction markets to make money. And I suspect, Ansom's going to be in that sort of tranche of people. So, and we have trolled Ansom repeatedly to come join Groovy Market. He never has. Get rid of that one. Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm in the right direction. All right, so we like to talk about tools and things that are happening. I think, in fact, we will be having more apps on our show. We love builders. We think they're great. And also, not all of them have badges, because what tends to happen is when somebody gets a badge, they can no longer come on our show, which sucks. But it's just the way we understand it. So we might talk a bit more about it in the next few days when it's not just me chatting away. So a protection layer for prediction markets. Okay, so toggle a loss cap on any bet, cash back if you're wrong. So it's like insurance, right? Most prediction markets traders eat the full downside on losses at the end of the event. Yes, I'm one of those. That scares off new users. That is also very true. This person understands the problem. Or these people in the group, whoever it is writing it. Users taking profit or accepting losses too early and keeps ticket sizes small, especially near big catalysts. Yes, I'm a bit of take a small profit sort of person rather than waiting to the end. I think I'd rather have the cash in my pocket. Liquid solves this by enabling one-tap protection. Know your max loss up front, no claim processes, parametric payout on resolution. Excellent. This sounds great, actually. Under the hood, a delta neutral aggregate. Oh, we're not going to get into that. Let's not get into their tech unless we're talking to them. Who benefits? Trader size with confidence, clear downside venues, see higher conversions, increased volume, ticket sizes, no changes to order book. Yeah, this is cool. So if you are a bit worried about losing your shirt, then this is the tool for you to check out. Okay, so we had fucking huge news last week when Polymarket essentially, as Gordon Gekko would say, got itself in at a 45-degree angle into the TradFi industry by taking $2 billion from the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange. I think that is epic. So great for crypto. But Kalshi were doing their own thing too. And they raised 300 million, 5 billion valuation from a bunch of VCs, basically. These are all big. For anybody who doesn't know, these are all very big. If you're raising money, you want these guys in your corner. They will equal success for you. So, yeah. But if we move on from it, right? So it's a raise. That's great. That's fantastic. I'm very happy to see that happen for those guys. But here's the co-founder. And they seem to have a video. And this is where it gets ridiculous, guys. And on this show, we will call out ridiculous bullshit. It kind of shows the megalomania that seems to sit in Kalshi right now. Maybe that's what you need, though. Maybe that's what you need. I don't have it. Of like having the first picture of Earth, the Apollo 11 rocket, the Berlin Wall coming down, all of these things are a kind of shadow some company raising a couple of some dollars, basically. So yeah, I think great video, looks great, all these great things. And I know it's about predicting events, but really what you're trying to say is this is an epic event. This is as epic as these things. And it's not, because nobody's going to remember it in 100 or 200 years, right? But yes, well done to Kalshi for raising that money. One thing I would just like to see is the tribalism kind of dissipate a little bit. I don't think it's great for the protocols and the brands. It's not necessarily great for the community long term. So let's bring peace, guys. More than a handshake. Okay, let's talk about why A16Z invested in Kalshi, because this will be really insightful. So this is Chris Dixon from there. Today, we're announcing that A16Z is co-leading the Series D in Kalshi, a regulated exchange for trading on prediction markets. Prediction markets are a modern implementation of a classic economic idea, one most clearly articulated by Friedrich Hayek. Okay, well, this is going to be quite a big post. Oh, no, it's not that big, actually. We'll test my reading skills, guys. Hayek argued that no central planner could ever access the dispersed knowledge held by millions of people across an economy. I truly believe that too. A fundamental challenge that has come to be known as the knowledge problem. Much of this knowledge is tactile and unspoken, embedded in people's experiences, circumstances, and preferences. Yes, Hayek. Hayek was just pointing out the limits of our central planning. This is an interesting, this central, right? Let's see where he goes with this, but I've got some points on this if I can remember them by the end of it. He was offering a solution in his 1945 essay, The Uses of Knowledge in Society. I might need to read that. I will definitely read that because I've never read it. Hayek argued that the solution lies in looking outward, not inward. We need decentralization, as he put it. Yes, I believe this is going in the direction I think it is. Markets, in Hayek's view, are not just allocation mechanisms, but information systems. Prices act as signal, compressing vast amounts of local knowledge into an actionable information. True. Moreover, prices create incentive. They encourage people to make decisions and act in ways that drive information back into a system. Yep, this creates an iterative feedback loop, an engine that drives better performance. Yes, absolutely agree. I'm sure that Hayek is very happy that this random dude over here is agreeing with him now. Today, we might see the answer to the knowledge problem is not to give centralized planners more sophisticated computers. Also agree. The answer is that markets themselves are computers. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at them. Prediction markets make this idea concrete, applying it to questions about the future and turning collective knowledge into prices that reflect possibilities. Yeah. Why we're investing in Kalshi. This is why we're excited about prediction markets and why we're investing in Kalshi. Kalshi is bringing prediction markets into the mainstream with a compliant, scalable platform for event. They love the compliant bit. Every push from Kalshi says regulated, like 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 it matters, right? like we're all pretty sure that the biggest base for Polymarket was in the US, even when they didn't have regulation, right? Like this is crypto. Like we walk around the regulatory framework until the regulatory framework figures out what's going on and can help us. Kalshi is bringing prediction markets into the mainstream. Well, blah blah blah. Just covered that bit, covering everything from elections and economics to sport and culture. It has already seen billions in trading volume and continues to grow quickly. Kalshi also plans deep crypto integrations, work we're excited to collaborate on, and today announced that they're expanding globally to 140 countries. I wonder how they're doing that from a regulatory framework. I'd like to know what those countries are. We're not the only ones excited about the potential of prediction markets for businesses, investors, events, contracts can hedge risk. Yep, Diego says this a lot, such as exposing to economic or policy changes. For policymakers and analysts, market prices offer real-time forecasts and can outperform polls and expert predictions. And for society at large, prediction markets create an open, transparent, and incentive-driven way to aggregate beliefs about the future. This is the right moment for prediction markets. As trust is established, that's totally right. Prediction markets are getting their moment. As trust in established institutions reach historic lows, at least according to polls, which I think we can all agree on. We need new systems that can earn trust in different ways. True. We believe the answer lies in open, decentralized systems. DeFi provides an alternative to traditional finance, stablecoins to conventional payment providers, and prediction markets to expert forecasts. I agree, because the experts actually don't have a cost if they're wrong. Where people once trusted banks and pundits, they can now trust protocols and markets. I get the sales pitch, and I agree to a certain degree, but I don't think you should be trusting any piece of information independently. And like we're seeing today, there's loads of insider trading or people gathering information before other people see it, so the market will shift in that way. And that it doesn't. This comes back to is insider trading going to be? And I'm not saying the Nobel Peace Prize was one piece of that, but is insider trading just going to be a feature that we can see and the transparency makes us feel more comfortable? Or can prediction markets find a way to mitigate the impact of insider trading? Because in the end, if an insider trader comes in with a lot of money, they cream everybody else and people lose en masse. Anyway, back to Hayek. Hayek's insight was that knowledge is too widely distributed for any one authority to possess. Instead, we need systems that harness the intelligence of the many. Kalshi puts this idea into action, transforming dispersed information into concrete market-based forecasts. We're excited to support their work as they bring prediction markets into the mainstream. Great. I like Hayek. I've heard of him. Or her. Friedrich. It's a dude, right? Sounds German. Haven't read much from this person, so I'm going to have to store this one, guys. This is how I learn. And no, I'm not going to ask ChatGPT. So that is why they have garnered so much money they have, because we do believe, and again, like I'm very hesitant to use the word truth, but it sounds really catchy and people like it. People are dying to hear be truthful and get their truth from one point, because then it makes their life a little easier. I think what we're saying more is actually rather than truth. Okay, so we did that one. Oh, Nick Pesler doing his prediction market count again. Let me just fire that one in. All right, so the chain and the amount of prediction markets. So Solana 29. Now, I have fear for Solana prediction markets, and I think they'll probably just need to find their own little niches. But if Kalshi decides to go on Solana, that's probably going to suck all the liquidity out of every other prediction market on Solana, if they actually even have any, and drive it into Kalshi. An analogous situation was back at the beginning of the year when Trump launched his coin, and every bit of liquidity in the market flew into Trump's coin and fucked the whole market up. So we've seen stuff like that before. We might not be able to see it coming, but can we see analogous things? Yes, we can. Ethereum has 13 monads. So yeah, it's really cool. And I'm not going to cut my leg because he's got a lovely little chart. So thank you, Nick, for that. We are in the other category because we are built on Say. So we didn't even get a mention. Bit sad. He knows who we are as well. Because he replies to our messages. So Nick, if you're watching this, it'd be great if you just put like Groovy Market. Say, and then just like one prediction market. They've actually got 2 as far as we can see. But let's shoot over to Mary and NYC. So I might not cover this in full, but I will, because I quite liked it. I thought it was quite interesting. I would love to have Mary on the show and have a chat. She doesn't have a badge, so she might be up for it. And I wish my messages would stop. Why doesn't the information go across browser with Twitter? So why is one, when I close the message tab, it doesn't remember that across the place? Anyway, I stopped writing about prediction markets because everyone started writing about prediction markets, and I felt it was a bit gosh. I don't know what gosh means. I've heard it used very much before, but I think I know what it means. I think I know the sentiment. I just don't know the actual definition. But then I got drafted into the war, so I have started thinking again about second-order impacts. Friends and governments tell me that they're explicitly not allowed to trade on prediction markets, but are their family members allowed to with the information they have? That would be insider trading now, wouldn't it? Crypto markets, market makers do not have these restrictions, and MMs, market makers, who work with pre-TGE teams can outside trade. Yes, they can. This is excellent, Mary. Prediction markets are safer for traders than pre-market perps that have thin liquidity and more direct impact asset price discovery pre-TGE. It is a healthier way to isolate, more isolated market. I agree. This is what I like about prediction markets. I think at one point they can become absolutely crazy and volatile when we start stacking different tools on them. But if you don't want to play in that world, then you don't necessarily need to. Prediction markets are net positive for society because they encourage civic engagement and staying informed on objective, non-partisan news. Yes, like generally, I believe that, but we need to see in 10 years if that's how it plays out. If anyone was old enough to see around the promises of social media, they did not come to fruition, and we essentially just ended up being spied on and our children being targeted with fucked up ads that make them crazy. So social media didn't deliver on its promises. It just promised to make their investors very rich, and it did. Let's see if prediction markets manages to not do that and actually become a social good. I'm interested in what happens when hypothetically unprobable situations in which Polymarket has a FOMC outcome. What's that? Let me just get this. Let me get what that means, because I think I know what it means, but I don't know if it is. Federal Open Market Committee. I did not know what it was mean. I got it wrong. Federal Open Market Committee within the federal system is that. Overseeing the nation's open markets and operations. It makes key decisions about interest rates. Okay, cool. I should have known that, actually. I just hadn't seen the abbreviation. Outcome of a 25% decrease at 9% probability, but the Fed actually decides on a 50% increase. I think psychologically, this is even more jarring than the market is priced. Given the market is priced an outcome indirectly and funds are making decisions preemptively based on prediction market data. I'm fascinated by the concept of prediction markets as safe yield. I don't think they're, yeah, okay, she's got it in. There's no such thing as safe yield, but we're saying safe yield, right? Where you can bet your entire savings account on an unlikely outcome and start at the start of the year. No on Kraken IPO in 2025. No on FanDuel prediction market etc. And bet what your bank offers as a HISA, as prediction markets are. This is a lot of American terminology, so this is why I don't know what these are. As prediction markets are highly accessible. I'm still learning how to risk-free ARB sports markets. Don't really understand sports, to be honest. Please teach me. I think I'd like to hear what she's learned so far, because I've been interested in anybody's learning on that. I'm incredibly bullish net new markets, particularly those in tech, AI, as I wrote about over the summer. I did not read that one, so I have no reference point. Lastly, this is who she's working for now. I presume there is no logo and no description. Is a type of prediction market where every bet is a productive asset that appreciates as the underlying trader performs. That's quite interesting. I'd like to know more about that. I'm incredibly bullish. New gamified versions of prediction markets, similar to this one's quite interesting. I don't know if I see it as a prediction market. I think it's been grouped under there. To be honest, I played around with it and I was like, this is more of a game that is a prediction rather than a prediction market that presents familiar ways to trade in order to express worldview and belief. There is so much room left to innovate on how collective wisdom surfaces information. That is true. So I would definitely check out that piece and follow her, because she's got some interesting stuff. What else have we got left? No, not going to read that one. All right, okay. Going to read this one. Controversial. We talk about it quite a lot. This will be our last article today. How well have I done? 36 minutes for one person. That's not bad. So Ivan, he's got his badge back. So he took his badge off and then he got his badge back. So he spat the dummy and something has changed in between, but I don't know if he's reported on it. We'll check his feed in a minute. Anyway, I'm taking a step back from Polymarket for the time being. This was only last week, so it's amazing that he's lost his badge and got it back in a matter of days. After I was on the end of another worst clarification ever, I can't and won't recommend it anymore. I can take losing fair and square like yesterday. I can also take the odd bad ruling on the chinning, but that was just one too many for me. When Polymarket sorts out its acts with rules and clarifications, I'll be back. And then there's Domer in there saying, yo, chill. And he's like, I've not got a problem. I'm not leaving the market. I'm just not going to promote Polymarket. So I guess this comes back to rules and clarification and how do we actually resolve markets on events? It's really hard. Polymarket has handed it off to UMA to deal with, but I think it's still causing problems, right? So the rules probably need to be more articulate. It's such a big problem, but it's a contract, right? The rules are a contract, and it's in the fine detail. And I'm up for updating the rules as we go along if the syntax isn't very clear. But I think prediction markets in general need to figure out how we deal with these rules and make it more. I mean, you've got sports betting companies; they do it all centralized, and it works. But their events are pretty finite, right? So, yeah, I would like to know what changed his mind, because I think he grew his followers quite a lot after doing this. I think he was at like 2,000 something the other day. Okay, so this was on the 9th. And he hasn't posted anything since then? All right. How did he get his badge back? Or maybe he didn't lose his badge. Anyway, we've DM'd Ivan. We'd love to chat to him and see what his ideas are around, like how we solve this. He's also got a Substack. If anybody knows Ivan, tell him to check his inbox. I don't think he's got back to us. But it'd be great to chat to people like this who have, like, again, they're OGs in the space. They understand. They use the platform. They're not just creating content to get a badge or something like that. They've actually got ideas on how we can make this game better. So yeah, it'd be good to hear Ivan and have a chat with them. And yeah, that is today's show. I'm hoping Diego is back tomorrow. and he will be able to put the show on reels a bit better than I do, because I just kind of fly in between things. And if you've not used Groovy yet, it's in testnet. Go and it's a playground. It's going to be live forever, the playground. So it's playground.groovy.market. You can go create a market, you can go play a market. It's all funny money, so you're not going to get hurt. The data is plugged into live data. The resolutions are live resolutions. So you can practice and see how good you are at prediction markets. And we have a newsletter, the Dollar Trade. So the one trade.substack.com. And we do a newsletter 5 days a week. We didn't do one on Friday because we were getting hammered with sickness. So yeah, that's what I would say. Go do, check out our testnet, sign up to the newsletter, give us feedback. If you are building in the space, get in touch, come on, talk, like chat about like what you're building and why you think is important, and then like kind of piggyback along with us when we go through all these articles, because I think it's just more fun to get general opinions from builders around what's going on. Opinions are really interesting. If you have a strong opinion, it's okay. You can come here and talk about it. We're not going to be like, shut your mouth. You can't say that here. So we will see you, or I will definitely see you tomorrow. Diego, we might see Diego tomorrow. But yeah,